Comment vous allez l'appeler?
Je sais pas. Je sais pas.
Et comment est-ce que vous allez l'appeler?
On l'appelle comment?
Je sais pas. Stella.
Named after a star, crafted as a holiday gift for the city of Leuven in Belgium.
Arsenal got beat by Everton Tuesday night. They also got beat by Liverpool. It's a good job there's no one in this bar from Liverpool. Sorry we're a little bit late this week. But, you know, good things come to those who wait.
Absolutely.
And it was a good job, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it cancelled the show on purpose to wait and see what the Arsenal result was.
I mean, I was torn because I obviously hate Everton more than life itself.
Yep.
But a good result for a Liverpool fan was for Arsenal to lose. Dennis, you watched the match. What happened?
Just didn't. Well, we played well in the first half, etc. But Everton are they're like one of those teams that's like a West Ham or a Stoke. They're capable of anything on any day, And to go to Goodison and get a result is always difficult. They haven't played well in 10 games, but they played well today.
Yeah.
They played well today.
They did play well today. I mean, is this a sign of the way the league's going? Do you think that it's as if nobody wants to challenge Chelsea? Oh, hang on a minute. Matt Yarnell, Dennis and Doritu, Dennis
I was
Friel,
just
and
thinking
me,
that.
and
I was just
Stella
thinking that.
Artois.
And Stella Artois.
I was beautiful thing. I was so delighted that Arsenal got beat. I forgot to introduce you.
We spotted that.
But do you think? I mean,
just so you know that he's delighted that Arsenal lost to the thing he hates more than life itself.
I know.
I know. I was just. I mean,
It's absolutely horrible.
I just didn't know. But let's. Is it the? We'll talk about Chelsea a little later on, and Arsenal had a chance to go top tonight.
Yeah.
Why did they choke?
See, I'm not even 100% sure what actually happened in that game.
Sorry. Just,
I know, right? Give it a minute.
I'll just stop you
give it
there.
a minute.
Just stop you there. To the viewers at home, right? Little known fact, we were talking before we started here. Dennis was in The Lion King. It's true. It's true. Is that true?
Simba. That was me, Simba. Yeah, you're welcome.
Back to football.
But you see, the problem is that I look at most teams in the league have figured out how to play Arsenal.
That's the bit, love the bit of The Lion King where he
There
did
you
that.
go.
And
There you
the
go.
end.
There you
Is that
go.
you?
I tried to do it, but he's too fat.
Ooh, behas. Can I go back to my story about the
Come on, Dennis, it's a football show. Spit it out.
I know, right? But it just amazes me because a lot of teams have now figured out how to play Arsenal. You go in there, high intensity, you get stuck in, you know they don't want to tackle, you know they don't want to play that kind of a high, and especially if it's an away game, it always gets a bit tricky. Now, and I look at that Arsenal team, there's something missing in them, and I've moaned about this like about 4 weeks ago on this very show where I said there's a bit of misbalance about that midfield, and Dennis D1 actually mentioned that the lack of Santi Cazorla is kind of creating a little bit of a bit of a mismatch in terms of who do you play as the holding midfield. And we have too many midfielders at the same time, but he keeps tinkering around with it. And then you still have players that are not showing up. Like Walcott was horrific today. Like he didn't show up at all.
Oxlade-Chamberlain in the first half wasn't particularly good either.
No.
Teams that are playing against Arsenal come out of the traps hot and heavy. And if they can score a couple of goals, the game is pretty much over then. But if they score one and the opposition nicks a goal before half-time, they come out now with their tails up and they're in the game. That's when Arsenal sometimes get, at least I think, they get a little bit ruffled, But having said that, Ozil missed a sitter today. There was two dreadful pieces of...
Was that the pull back on the penalty spot when he was pulled back to him? I mean, you put your house on him on Ozil scoring them.
Absolutely. And I would have lost my house. Living in somewhere else. But anyway, if that had been in and it would have been 2-0, then that would have been, I think, game over. But, we missed Mustafi today, and we do miss Cazorla.
Is Cazorla one of those players that you're missing more when he's not playing? He's almost underrated a little bit when he's on the pitch.
I don't think he's underrated. I think everyone, as soon as you see an Arsenal team with Cazorla in it, you instantly go, oh, I can see where the creativity is coming from. He's an homage to Silva in Man City, for example. Whenever
Or Coutinho
Silva
in Liverpool.
Or Coutinho in Liverpool, whenever he's playing, you kind of see...
no one in West Ham.
We'll
get to West Ham. We'll get to West Ham.
You just need, you kind of need a bit of understated genius, where you're just pulling in the strings and you're figuring out...
Bit like you on this show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Understated genius.
Understated
If you weren't
genius.
here, we
Just
miss you then.
subtle.
When you're here,
Just subtle.
you annoy us a bit.
Just subtle.
Lost your voice, haven't you?
Yeah, I've lost my voice quite a bit. I do apologize to everyone. But yeah,
You get a job on one of those chat lines.
oh dear.
You can actually hear the audience cheering.
That's the hollow echo.
You're welcome. I'm here for all of you. No, I think you do right. Yeah, that just happened. No, but in every team, you still need someone to tinker around. And I think when big players like that, when they go when they're injured for a long period of time, like you guys are missing Coutinho right now, when they go injured, you kind of like feel it deflates everyone else around them because nobody else is there's nobody else to replace what that particular player does. So I think it deflates everyone around them. The strikers are not getting the balls as quickly as they should.
But it was, Dennis, it was two non-Arsenal goals to concede. It was two clear free headers. Yeah. That's
Absolutely.
basic mistakes.
Yeah, basic mistakes. Mustafi was missed today. There was nobody marking Ashley when he came into the box. And then Theo Walcott's tracked back to defence to make a tackle. He literally just shot past like the road runner.
Yep.
And the idea is either to stop the ball or stop the man,
Yeah.
But neither of those happened. But just further to the Santi Cazorla thing, if we have Ozil creating for Sanchez or Sanchez creating Ozil, that's only one particular attack. When you have Santi Cazorla, now he's got two options.
Yeah.
He's got an Ozil on one side and a Sanchez on the other, and vice versa, where those two keep trying to create for each other,
The one good thing I enjoyed most about that
Apart from
game
the results.
was in the last few minutes, Jagielka received the second yellow card, was sent off, and is missing for the Liverpool game on Saturday.
There you go.
Yeah.
Got to be happy
Brings
with
us
that.
nicely into it, Matt. We watched it together,
segue.
Liverpool-West Ham.
Yeah.
Was that a good point for West Ham, or was it points drop for Liverpool?
Bit of both of that, I think you could say. I think first half we deserved to get going.
Good first half.
Yeah, good first half.
Terrible second half.
We deserved to go in ahead. Second half was all Liverpool. Just, the whole way through. I think I can count 2 attacks that we did in the second half. And it was all Liverpool. I don't know what dynamic changed. We just didn't push on like we did in the first half. But a pretty good, decent game overall, I thought. Wasn't too bad to watch, it was a decent game to watch. Great to have Antonio and Cresswell back. That changed, I've been saying it week in, week out. When
You've
we
missed
haven't got
them.
We're
Interesting
useless.
that
We're completely useless.
I saw some footage on Facebook of the Liverpool tradition at the ground is to touch the sign. This is Anfield, which interestingly Klopp's banned the Liverpool players from doing.
Really?
So that none of you are worth it until you've won something.
That's
Wow.
He refuses
I
to
like
let
that.
the Liverpool players touch the sign.
No, I
But
like that.
Cresswell
did
the
it.
West Ham player, did.
Yeah.
Well, he's boyed Liverpool. He was with Liverpool. Liverpool told him he wasn't good enough and told him to go back to baking bread or whatever the hell it was.
Bacon bread.
I don't know. I'm just making
Do you know
up
what?
a little job.
He's got more dough now.
Worthwhile.
There you go. There you are. There you are.
Almost how he set it up, but it wasn't.
There you go.
Do you know what? Liverpool are just naturally funny. If you think about it,
Then what happened to you then?
You've got Kennedy, that was me. You've got Kennedy, Bishop, Tarbuck, Boardman.
So what happened to you then?
Cilla Black.
Yeah, Laura laughs.
There you go. There you go.
And Liverpool Football Club.
There you go. There you go. Brilliant. Oh, Dennis, you read. Take a bow, son.
The midweek games are coming. Liverpool tomorrow. Let's see how they do.
Liverpool's goalkeeper got a little bit of flack.
Yeah. Well, so did ours.
So it goes, but the interesting thing about the Liverpool goalkeeper, which I thought was hilarious, was that he did an interview in one of the newspapers to say,
Spotman, I
shut
believe
up
it was,
Gary Neville.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then Gary Neville hit back, and then Klopp
stepped
yesterday started having a go at Gary Neville.
Nobody listens to the Nevilles anyway, I think he said.
What, very interesting fact about Gary Neville and his brother Phil Neville.
Well, his brother stuck up for him the other day.
Is that called Neville?
Neville.
Like you could have been Yono.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's tough.
Do you know anyone
Sounds
called
good, though.
Indurito?
No,
Enrico,
no.
Enrico.
You just,
Enrico.
that's too many consonants in one name as it is. It's too tough. Don't forget about that. No, but
You did
actually,
see
going
that
back-
thing I sent you on Facebook with
Yes.
the Kenyan guy's name?
Yes, I did. He wasn't Kenyan actually. He was from
was the Kenyan guy's
he's
name?
Nigerian. He's a guy from
Nigerian.
Nigeria. I couldn't even pronounce his name even if I tried.
He could barely do it.
Back to Carriers, by the way.
Loris Carrier.
Yeah, Lawrence Carriers. See, I think it's getting out of hand whenever it comes to pundits, including ourselves. Whenever you
He's
speak.
only young though, isn't he?
Exactly.
At the end of the
But
day.
sometimes you can't keep slamming a player and then complain whenever he stands up for himself and goes like, because we're talking about the game now. The game has changed so much. In the last 10, 20 years, it's changed so much. And you're looking for characters. You know, if you remember, the early 90s, those players that you remember, who have, and most of them have ended up being actors or whatever. But if you look at it, actors. There's a few of them. One or two.
Vinnie
I can't-
Jones?
Yeah, Vinnie Jones.
Who else?
Tough. Can I carry on with my story? I struggle after that, by the way. No, but you look at those
pundits.
Hang on.
pundits too.
David
But
Beckham was in a movie. Cantona.
Eric Cantona, there you go. Oh,
Yes.
nice one. But thanks for that save, by the way. No, but you look at those players, and everyone said, okay, they had character. There were characters in the game. You had guys like Tony Adams, who was always dazzling in the pubs or whatever. But you then complain when a guy actually gets an interview, and I'm guessing someone has actually said, I would like to interview you, as opposed to him saying, I'd like to give an interview. And he said, I'm going to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
Gary
Do you want
Neville.
to just email me the end of this story and we'll carry on talking?
Yeah. There you go. No, but I look at Phil Neville and I go like, well, why is he getting involved? Why was he getting involved? I never understood that at all.
Well, there was an interesting shout because I watched the Liverpool game and the shout went to the crowd and it was Bruce Grobbelaar
Yeah.
and Ray Clements. Now Bruce was a little bit.
He was
Yeah,
mental.
he was crazy.
Mental is a good word to actually describe it.
But
Poor Africans.
two great keepers.
Yeah.
You've got Karius in goal now.
Yeah.
It's changed so much, hasn't it? The goalkeeper now has to be a really good footballer, which is what a lot of the teams are looking for, because Karius is a really good footballer.
Yeah.
Which brings me nicely onto Manchester City.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's why they brought in Bravo.
Bravo.
Because Joe Hart is not a footballer. He's a shot stopper
Yep.
sometimes. And
Sometimes, I like that.
and they got rid of him. But look at their City results now. How much is it? I think you should focus on being a goalkeeper.
A City, Matt, in danger of not being of falling away this season because they've only played 2 or 3 decent teams. They played Tottenham, they lost. They played Chelsea, they lost. They played Leicester, who was essentially the champions. They lost. They played Man United, but they're not really a decent team. I wouldn't put Man United.
Not at
in
the
they're not a
which we'll get
decent
onto
team.
later.
Man
Yeah.
United.
But
Oh, that was sly.
There's a couple of United fans.
That was sly.
But
I
they're struggling
think
against
Man
big teams.
City are only really struggling in defence at the moment. I think their defence is too slow. I think they're not quick enough for the fast pace of the strikers these days. Because every year strikers get faster and faster, quicker and quicker. That's what's happened. You look at it over the decades. But the defenders have got to keep up with that as well. So, and they've not quite done that. I mean, Connor obviously got the free kick, scored the goal with the free kick, but he was getting turned left, right and centre by Vardy for those goals.
You talk about defence and goalkeepers. I mean, they've got the great defender in John Stones. He's great potential. They paid 50, 60 million or something ridiculous for him.
But he's a potential.
But defenders and goalkeepers seem to get better with age.
Yeah.
Whereas your attackers are the young guys. But if you look at good defenders in the Premier League at the moment, it's Cahill. He's probably in his early
They grow
30s.
into the positions.
They
don't
grow into the position. I mean, John Stones, I've got no doubt that he's going to be a fabulous player and a great England international. But he's just making mistake after mistake.
Yeah. I know they have such high hopes from leaving Everton to go to Man City, and they spent a lot of money for it. There's obviously a lot of pressure as well playing for Man City, and when the results go against you and you're playing for Pep Guardiola and the style of play he wants you to play, maybe he's not as good as they thought he may be. maybe he needed another couple of years of Everton to kind of get
Yep.
blooded in even further, you know, when he has to do a lot more work, etc. Even though the expectations are just as high as Everton as they are in any Premiership team. For me, and I was a defender at some stage in my life, but it's a little easier in defenders, and because they don't do as much of the running, they do more of the ball control at the back, and they set it up kind of. Centre forwards are running constantly. They're pressuring you when you don't have the ball, when you have the ball, and then when they're under attack, they're full in.
Yeah.
So they seem to be like a candle; they burn out quicker. It's only a few of them ever last, like Raúl.
Yeah,
these kind of players.
we haven't talked about Arsenal during this show yet, and the fact that you got beat.
Let's just move on.
For the third time.
Let's move on. You're playing Manchester City next weekend.
That's correct.
Huge game.
I mean, is that a great opportunity for actually for both clubs to bounce back?
Yeah, definitely.
I suppose.
I think
Arsenal aren't bouncing back. They're only a point off the top. So
Thank
it's
you.
not a case of.
Yeah.
There's only two clubs in it at the moment, aren't Chelsea and Arsenal, aren't they?
nah.
You're there and thereabouts, but you're still not. It's not. You're not consistent enough at the moment, unlike those two. And City are. They're there and thereabouts. They're still there. I mean, we're saying like, oh, they did enough. They didn't do it. They're still up there. They're still getting the points. They have a couple of little blips here and there, but they're beating the smaller teams, which is what wins you titles more than beating the bigger teams. Getting your points against them, but it's getting those 3 points against the smaller teams, not letting them take points off you.
If Chelsea had beaten Arsenal in that game, they'd be 9 points clear of everybody else now. So that just shows you how tight it is up there. You know, there's 3 points one way.
Exactly,
like Arsenal have just had a loss today. Oh, they're falling apart. Here comes the collapse. Last week Liverpool drew. Oh my God, without Coutinho, etc. Every week, but it's so important to get those wins because nobody wants to drop. But now they're all starting to drop points. Tottenham lost as well.
Yeah, you make a really valid point there, but my problem is Chelsea aren't dropping.
They're not dropping
That's
points.
not-
You know,
Nine wins in a row.
West Brom are not a bad team. I think West Brom
They
were
were
up to
really unlucky.
sixth or seventh. They were very, they were really unlucky
unlucky.
against Chelsea.
But that's the sign of a championship winning
I think
team.
it was 70 minutes into the game when I was watching. I'm thinking, Chelsea are going to win this.
Yeah.
You know, it was like watching an old Man United team. You know, 70 minutes in, you think they're still going to win it.
I think the way they just, the fact that they have such great balance in the team when you look at it, ignore the personnel they have. I mean, they're getting rid of
You
Oscar.
struggle with balance a bit, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Oh, that's mean. That is horrific. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed of yourself right now.
I am.
Anyway, no, but calm down, you. No, but I look at that team and I see even ignoring the personnel. I mean, they're selling Oscar to some Chinese team right now for about 50 million or something. They can afford to actually lose him. So ignoring the personnel that they have, but you look at the formation that they have. You look at the fact that Conte has kind of like calmed them down in terms of stop panicking like you were doing last season. The main man is no longer being a bit fighty because that's the only boy I know who can.
He is. He's been, Costa's.
Yeah, Costa's just absolutely calmed down. But I think
Still a bit ugly though.
yeah, but I'm beginning to, because I think they're bringing out the best out of Pedro. I'm such a huge Pedro fan, and every time I watch him play, I go like, he's one of the most intelligent players ever since he was even in Barcelona. Even when he was in Barcelona B, he was still that good. He just makes this fantastic. Yeah, I know, and he just makes these brilliant runs that makes everybody else. You know, it's so easy to find him with the ball. It's so easy to find everybody else, and they just seem to be ticking.
At the weekend. They struggled to do that because of. You should really give West Brom a lot of credit for that.
Oh yeah, they played well as well.
They set their stalls. They had 8-9 players back at the time.
Yeah.
The possession was ridiculous amount, I believe.
Yeah.
But and it wasn't really even a mistake. Yeah, he should have cleared it. He should have just booted the ball out. It would have been fine. But Costa's big, strong player.
Yeah.
He bounced him off the ball easily. But that finish was.
It was sublime.
Absolutely incredible.
It was sublime.
So his left foot as well. He's a right-footed player.
Yeah.
They're going to keep getting results.
Yeah.
You say they're going to keep getting results. You don't think they will go? Every team, every season goes through a bad patch. You know, traditionally,
Leicester didn't last year.
November's been a bad patch.
Traditionally for us, personally.
Normally, we from about the beginning of August to kind of sort of mid-May is like a bad patch for West Ham.
That's what I like. I like that one. I like that
Are
one.
they not 2 injuries away from problems?
As a supporter on the outside, and as an Arsenal supporter, I'm sure a lot of Arsenal supporters, oh, here we go again. when we drop points away to a Stoke, an Everton, or one of these mid-table teams, and as an Arsenal are looking at Chelsea, oh, here they go again.
Yeah.
Oh, they're solid again. They're up at the top. They're like last year. We were expecting them to do something, and they did nothing all year long. At this stage last year, Costa was sent off twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
He had 3-match suspension, 3-match
Yeah, that's
suspension.
true.
He hasn't done a thing wrong this year, and they're scoring goals.
But that's also due to frustration of playing
could be.
badly
Yes.
as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If you're not
Yeah.
playing badly.
Yeah.
So he's giving his head a little bit more.
He doesn't need to start
doesn't
trying
need-
to go in for those awful challenges and
Yeah.
do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
As a Liverpool supporter, do you think that they're going to win, or do you think they'll drop off again? Based on recent history, you probably feel that, oh, we'll drop off near the end.
I'm hoping so. You know, I also don't think. I mean, Chelsea have still got to play some big games.
They've got
You
some
know,
big
they've,
games.
They've got to go to Anfield. You
Yeah.
know, they've got to play Arsenal again.
Yeah,
You know, they've
Stamford
already
Bridge.
beaten them.
Yeah.
And they've got to go to, oh God, United.
Yeah.
You know, there's still a lot of football to
Spurs.
be
Yeah,
played.
yeah.
I was watching the match with a few friends of yours, and I think one of them was a Liverpool fan, and he said something like, "Oh, if Liverpool lose this, we're not going to win the league."
Now, hang on. No.
It's
No.
not. It's December.
But just
Not
if,
like that,
it's
yeah.
December.
if Chelsea lose tomorrow, and let's just say Liverpool win and Tottenham win and United, and it gets condensed again. That means all those teams have more or less beaten each other or drawn with each other, and they've all lost against a mid-table team. And it's still way up for grabs.
Yeah,
But at
absolutely.
the moment, Chelsea are looking
February,
more solid.
that's, I'm always, February, that's when it gets,
Yeah.
the grind starts in February.
Also, worth noting, February, my birthday.
I say,
Second.
for a
Make a
second.
note.
Yeah, I will
We'll
do.
be here
I will
for
do.
that.
I will do.
Make a note.
Because the Champions League comes in as well. So.
And Chelsea are not in
Champions.
the Champions League.
Chelsea don't have the Champions League.
Yes,
yeah,
that's a
yeah,
big thing.
that's a
One team
bigger.
that is playing in Europe next season, Manchester United in the Europa League.
Yeah.
They played really well on against Tottenham at the
Yeah,
weekend.
they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did play
I
very
said
well.
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
Yeah.
Tottenham.
Yeah, it's from
Yeah.
Tottenham.
They played really well. I thought that was the best
Yeah.
I've seen them play.
That's
Yeah.
the best I've seen them play this year. They
late.
played well against Arsenal. They should have won that game as well. But
Should really have won
they
that
should have
game,
won that game. But United, they just seem to, even though they're not playing the way that they want to play, they're eking out the results. They're getting a little result. They're not playing great, but they're getting a result. But Mkhitaryan has been a great addition to that team.
Yeah.
Took a while getting going, didn't he?
Yeah, a little bit of a while. Yeah, he
Yeah.
got, yeah, but
Well-
a little injury at the end, obviously, of the game. But
Yeah.
I think it's only a week or two.
Yeah.
I'm saying.
So-
But yeah, great strike, great finish, wasn't
Wow.
it? But you saw the run down the wing for him to get injured
Yeah.
as well was
Yeah.
fantastic.
But you see his
Yeah.
goal
Control
in
was
the
really
Europa
good.
League this
Yeah.
week. He
Yeah.
went straight through the whole defence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bam, 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 stuck in the
Yeah.
back of the net. Thank you.
No,
very
I
much.
think
I think he's
Pogba's
a good
coming good as well.
That's
Which is also in line with United starting to
Yeah.
be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a couple of shots himself, was unlucky.
He had a free kick. He had a fantastic free kick. Actually, I thought that was going in. I really did think that was going to go in.
United fans booed Fellaini.
Yeah.
Bit off.
Yeah, it's a bit off that, isn't it? It's one game they lost.
Well.
All right, it's a Liverpool side,
Well.
but it's like it was a bit unfair.
He's
really,
not a
isn't it?
United player. They're going to ship him out.
Yeah.
He
Well, there's
hasn't
talk
played
of him
well for
coming to
them.
West Ham.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, every week
Okay,
it's
yeah.
talk
There's someone come to West Ham.
I read the other week, look at Dennis going to West Ham.
We do like Crocs, so
Can we let it go already? Can we just let it go already?
Straight away.
See what you've
straight
started
in
now,
the team,
man.
Straight onto the injury list.
Tell it how it is. Just tell it how it is.
You got Jenkins from us, didn't you, for a while, Jenkinson?
yeah, Jenkinson. We had
Yeah.
him for the season, was great. And
Yeah.
brought him back in, and then he got injured again.
Yeah.
You can have him back if you
But,
like.
yeah, we will have back.
Yeah.
That's where
Fellaini,
we're
I mean,
failing.
somewhere there's a good player in Fellaini, isn't he, with the right team?
Think
I mean,
so, yeah, I
terrible
think so.
haircut, good player.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Plays in the
He's just
Belgian
a bit
national team.
dirty though, isn't he? That's the problem. And
Yeah.
it's,
There's
like,
loads
it's
of
a bit
that,
too-
isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit too much.
Yeah.
It's like it's fine, you know, every now and again, get a cheeky little elbow in somewhere or something like that, fine. But he does it every time he
Yeah.
jumps up. His elbows
But
are raised.
sometimes I look at
And
sometimes I
you're
look
just
at him.
asking for someone to get sent off each week, and it's
Sometimes I look at him sitting on the bench and I go like, who am I bringing? I'm
You
bringing
know
him
what
on
would be really bad if
in.
he sat behind him on the bench? Because you wouldn't see the game.
say-
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Or
there you
go to
go.
the movies.
There you go. That's true.
You know.
That's true. But when he's
Sat
sitting,
behind Fellaini in the cinema in Cayman.
he's
But I
tall
see-
as well, so it makes it even worse.
I know, right? I just see him sitting on the bench and I go like, okay, out of that team, who am I replacing in that team to bring him on? And I always struggle with that United team. Every time I look at them, I go like,
Yeah.
okay, so he's sitting on the bench there. You want to sub? Who are you subbing though? Do you know what I mean? And
Mourinho
just-
likes him.
Yeah, but Mourinho will do anything to actually change the fabric of a game, as long as it's what it is. If it's because it's a gamble like he did last week, it was a bit of a gamble that he brought him in, ends up conceding a penalty. But
backfire.
he's always that kind of a manager where if he wants to tinker around with it, he has his own idea. As maybe I just need a tall player down there. Maybe I need to cover someone else who's actually running through the channels and everything else. But I think for Laney, sometimes I look at him and I go, it's just too frustrating for me. I look at him and I go like,
a fair few goals from midfield, didn't
sure,
he, Everton?
sure. But that was Everton though.
So
But that was Everton.
Everton were playing well then as well. That was the difference. That was when
Different
Everton
team.
were pushing for top 6 all the time.
Yeah, but it's still a different team, and then you can, because he was a starter at the time.
Yeah.
Now I can't remember the last time he actually started a United game, and that's where you look at it and you go like, this is where the difference actually begins. He was a starter in that team. That team required him. Right now, I don't think they need him.
Going back to the Leicester game, you know, I think we sometimes forget that Leicester are champions.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and
I think we saw Leicester of last season this week.
Vardy finally got a month ago. He got
First goal and then he ends
Hat-trick.
up with a hat trick on
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
And they were all classic Vardy goals.
Yeah.
The third one, that finish was brilliant.
Yeah, it was a
I
beautiful.
kind of
beautiful.
came away
Maybe
from that
off the
match
post, but-
thinking this could be a little bit of a turnaround for Leicester. They get beat tonight 1-0 at Bournemouth.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
certainly get beat Tuesday night 1-0
Yeah,
at Bournemouth.
but
Yeah. Which, it's difficult sometimes to understand, but I think they're getting the fatigue of Champions League as well, as we were talking about last week.
And they were spanked in the Champions League.
Yep.
Yeah, but
They
did
put out they
second
had 9
side.
changes.
They
though.
put out
Yeah.
They had 9 changes.
I think
Because
they
they
were.
already qualified.
Yeah, they were probably just thinking ahead about the game against Man City. But you look at them, and sometimes it's so frustrating to see a former champion and an incumbent champion just not doing the business. And but it's good to actually see him
They're only
scoring
a few
again.
points off us.
Yeah,
That's the crazy
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
We
yeah.
won the league the year before, and they're only a few points off
Yeah.
us.
Well, I think we
We're
talked about it the
struggling
other
down
week on the
bottom.
show. You know,
But the same thing's happening with West Ham and Leicester. We've both done exceptionally well last year.
Mm.
And
all of a sudden-
Chelsea did. Yeah, Chelsea did it last year. They
yeah.
did well the year before, and
Yeah.
they were nowhere to be seen last year.
Yeah.
quick word about Europe and the Champions League. I saw that I've spoken to a couple of Arsenal fans who seem to think that the Bayern Munich is a winnable fixture in the Champions League.
Away, yes, not at home.
Yeah.
Because we've beaten them away the
Sorry,
last
when
three.
I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you.
Are we back on this? Are we back
Is your
on
voice
this?
back?
Yeah, it's back now. Give it a minute. Give it a minute.
Bayern Munich. It's a tough draw, isn't it?
It is a tough draw, and when you get to the last 16 of the Champions League, they're all going to be tough. Maybe I'd say a little saving grace is we got to go away the first game, and we get the second leg at home. So we just got to knuckle down and the away. We've played them so many times. There shouldn't be a fear. We know what we're up against, and in fact, we beat them 2-0 away the last time, but we lost 3-1 at home, and we went out on the away goals, obviously. So there's no need to be afraid of them, and it could have been worse. It could have been Barcelona.
They're not the best team, Bayern Munich, and they're not playing brilliant in Germany at the moment.
They're
in
not
the second or
having the
third or
best
something.
seasons,
Ancelotti's the manager there, of course, now. I mean, do you think it's a good draw for Arsenal?
You know, every year, like in the past 5 or 6 years, it's either been Bayern or Barcelona. So you
Yeah.
take whichever one is actually given
Yeah.
to you. I think you're right in saying that, Janice, you're right in saying that, there's no fear factor anymore. We've beaten them at the Allianz the last 3 times. We've actually met them in the draw, but they always beat us at home, which is always a bit of a difficulty to understand. The Bayern team is aging. They're not as young as they used to be. And you look at them now and you go like, because normally you'd expect Bayern to be top of the league in Germany. This time around, it's a bit different. So I think there's a good chance we might have a good chance of beating
Quick
them.
word before we go. I think I may have a little bit of an exclusive.
Oh yeah.
A bit of an exclusive.
Go on.
It's your birthday in February.
Yeah, that's
I've got a
massive.
sneaking little feeling, and I've spoken to a couple of people about this today and a few messages, that Liverpool Football Club may soon be taken over.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm not talking about taken over by other teams in the league. A few little, just watch this space.
Coming from where?
China,
Really?
government.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, billions.
Wow.
More money than Dennis.
Wow.
Wow.
I know.
Keep it real, guys. Keep
That's
it real.
massive.
Now. Come
massive.
on now.
Massive. Buy the team then. Just buy Liverpool.
He's got sunset. I watched them play out quick. Out the cup.
What about Sunset?
Why would I buy Liverpool?
Sunset out the cup.
Throw me money away.
Sunset out the cup.
Sunset out of the cup. What can I say? A little bit unlucky.
A little bit unlucky.
A little bit
Sunset out the
unlucky.
cup. But Ramon Seeley played. Ramon was going to come on. He can come on next week. He's the national team goalkeeper in the weeks to come. Guys, it's flown over.
It has.
Yep.
Stella Artois.
Indeed.
Beautiful thing.
She's a thing.
Thanks
She's
very
a
much.
thing of beauty.
We'll be back next week. Football
Cheers.
first. Whiskey Miss Stella Artois.